You spent the entire morning while I was looking for coffee shops. You were deciding if we should still eat 12 grapes underneath the table. And
Oh
we didn't do
my
it.
gosh, we didn't do
But
it.
that was a scene out of Revenge.
Audio Jungle.
Hello, experts. HNY.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
And you heard a fun, special voice.
Return guest.
Returning guest. Avanti. God bully.
Oh my god. First and last.
Before we get into it, we're going to talk about the podcast because we need some clout.
Right.
If you guys haven't already and you're enjoying the podcast so far, please consider giving us a review and potentially a follow, potentially notifications on, and we will be on Instagram, TikTok, and wherever you
Listen to your podcast.
and listen to your podcasts.
Yeah, maybe send it to a friend. Could be fun. But yeah, I mean, you know what this episode is about. It's a tried and true. It was our claim to our little fame, our very first episode. We're talking vision boards, we're talking goals, and we're talking New Year, New Us. Okay, Avanti is in this episode mainly because we have been camping in her house, literally, for 10 full days. We've been in
You have not
hot
been here for 10 days.
Atlanta. I feel like I live here, guys.
Yeah,
I am a
that's true.
Georgian resident.
Priya has been here for a long time.
She does know the streets. Ponce is her second home.
And also, Avanti is the queen of habits and reflections.
She's in her cooking era, we've learned, because she is cooking up all the good for us, and we are just kind of watching her make it.
Yeah, we're eating the coziest meals ever.
Priya's dream.
It's actually my dream. I can't talk about it that much. Literally day one, Avanti goes, oh, I'm gonna whip up some pav bhaji. And she made this instant pot pav bhaji.
So
and I was
good.
like, this is the most adult. I mean, mind you, we're really in the thick of our late 20s, but somehow this feels like the most adult thing ever. And it was so good. So we've just been living our
Yeah.
best lives.
So thrilled to have you.
Thanks. Also, our New Year's plans were so interesting. We basically just went out for dinner, went to a bar, I guess.
I think
It's a bar.
It's a bar.
It's
It
a bar.
qualifies as
We
a
went
bar.
to a really chill bar compared to others we've been to in the past. And we
Can't
basically
discuss.
hung out in an area of the bar that was 90% empty, okay?
I know.
Sat down, talked about some questions, and then we watched the ball drop 40 seconds late.
Bro,
40 seconds late, and we're home by 12:38.
I know. It was kind of like the absolute best.
It was my
phenomenal.
dream New Year's.
And I was a little hungover the next day, but it was like a recoverable type.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a devastating moment.
No,
No.
there's some devastating.
Yeah,
hangovers.
there
Oh
have
my
been
goodness.
devastating New Year's days. And this
Oh
wasn't
my
one
God.
of them, so I think that's a win.
We did it up.
We did it correct, guys. We literally ate so well, and then we were like, we want a bar vibe and we want good music, but we also just want to sit and talk to each other, which we've been doing for the past 4 days. And that's actually exactly what we got.
Yeah.
So it was a really fun New Year's. I've personally been really loving Atlanta. We went to a mozzarella bar. We got massages. Deeksha got beat up at her massage.
I did get beat up, but now I'm on the up and up. So.
Do you feel actually good now?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you
I
feel
feel
better.
better now, but it really did hurt for 2 full days.
No, but
like,
sometimes they tell you, like, you will be sore. Like a Thai massage. I remember my dad one time got a Thai massage, and he had bruises.
But is that like safe?
I don't
or
know.
healthy?
But okay, do you feel like your knots feel better than pre-massage?
I feel like maybe I have a little less tension. To put it up top, I am very happy that I got the massage. I just did not know what hurt and what didn't because it was my first time.
know.
So I don't know, like, when to say stop in that situation.
Wait, but can I
No.
say the funniest thing that happened?
Oh
at the
my gosh,
massage
yeah.
place? Okay, so when I was booking the massages, I was like, these bitches are not gonna want men massaging them. So I was like,
No way.
can we get 3 female masseuses? And she was like, so for that time, I can only do 2, but we can have 2 female and 1 male. And I was like, okay, great. I know I'm gonna be doing the male.
Yeah, she knew.
And then we get to the place and they kind of just like automatically assigned the therapist to the person. So Deeksha, like, she gets her lady, she goes off, and then the guy goes, Priya?
And it's just silent. I'm standing there. The woman was too stunned to speak. And then Avanti just goes, yes, I am Priya. And then I go, I am Avanti.
In that moment,
Oh my God.
it felt easier to just switch identities than to explain the fact that Priya would be a little uncomfortable.
I know. I was
with
like,
the
that
man
may have even been
massaging her.
offensive. So
How
I'm
do
glad
I
we avoided.
explain? But Avanti took one for the team. Yeah, but we really have done it up. We've been eating so good, and we came into 2024 on the highest of spirits, I have to say. The end of 2023, it could be a big bust. And in some ways, it kind of was this year, I have to say. The end of any year, we're just rotting. Our habits have gone to shit. Things might not be thriving, but one thing about us is we show up on the first, journals in hand. We are rolling up to a coffee shop. We are getting a latte. We are sitting at a table, and that's exactly what we did. And we are reflecting and journaling and manifesting for actually 14 straight hours. It's like a marathon. Our itinerary was actually kind of insane.
But we kind of split it up well, I gotta
did.
say. Because I was like, oh my God, how much journaling are we gonna do? Because these bitches be journaling a lot, and I don't journal like that. To the point where I didn't even have a journal, and then Avanti let me her extra journal. We found, Avanti did the most deepest dive I have ever seen. Like, we did not talk about this, but you spent actually 2 hours looking for a coffee shop, and I was
She was looking at every single photo, videos. She was like going through the Google listing, finding a video, and then she saw the video of one. I looked at all the pictures. I was like, this looks slay. Let's go there. And she's like, no, the video doesn't look like it's enough square footage. I'm like, this girl has such a particular vision.
We were there for 3 hours. We had the most divine patience. Where did we go?
Chrome yellow.
Chrome yellow.
And the people in there were, you said, giving Bushwick. I think that's
It was
good.
giving Bushwick, hipster,
But everyone
really
was
kind,
extremely
though.
nice.
Yeah, so sweet. It was so funny. We got these pastries. We only got 2, and so like any normal coffee shop person would think 1 per person or something.
But also only me and Priya went up to order.
I know, but then I go up to the counter and the guy just automatically gives me 3 spoons because he just eyed us and he was like, they're about to go.
Yeah, because
3
we're
by
like,
2.
Avanti, only 2 shots in the large. Are you okay?
I know. Literally, we were screaming and kind of maybe making the place chaotic, but then we journaled for 3 straight hours.
I always get really scared to journal because I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to have enough thoughts to write down. But I really like these prompts because I felt like they were focused enough where like short answers were very much enough. Like, let's normalize not having to journal a lot, still journal.
No, I go through journals because I do scrapbook journaling, which I highly recommend. It's basically you just take little mementos from wherever you are and then stick it in a journal. So like some days I don't write a single thing. I just will like put a little business card or whatever. But these prompts were given by Pri, I think in 2020 because
No, this was like
still did the
2021.
prompts.
Yeah, this was like weaning to the end of the pandemic because I remember Diksha was already in New York and
Yeah,
I was about to, and okay, we were trying to figure out the root of where we got these prompts. Avanti has a strong hunch that it was from this YouTuber, Moya Wanini. I will confirm her name, but she's fire. She has the most aesthetic YouTube videos. She's always doing really reflective exercises. And it's like a list of how many questions?
18.
I think it's 18, yeah.
18 questions. And so I think we started it in 2021. We did it again in 2022.
On the roof. Yeah.
On the roof. And then we did it again this year.
I just joined this year for the journaling aspect of this.
But it is really nice because like we've read back our answers both years and it's the perfect way to start off whatever New Year's exercises you want to do. Before you can set intentions for the new year, I think it's really important to reflect on the year you've just had.
I also just like the format of these questions just because they are so pointed.
Yeah.
And like they
You
make
don't have
you
to think too hard.
Exactly. And they like ask you about like a specific feeling. I really like the way how did you suffer this year?
How did you suffer differently?
Differently this year. Yeah,
I know,
was
that
a
one
really
is
good
fun.
question. And it came after a really polar opposite question. I really like the money one too. What did you spend? I don't know. I like when the questions aren't all serious, like the suffering question.
Well,
You know
because
what I
it's
mean?
kind of fun, because if you're reading it back years later or whatever, it's like a little glimpse into like your life of that year.
And your personality
Yeah,
at the
and
time,
your personality
you know?
and who you were spending time with, who you weren't spending time with. I find that to be the more interesting part to read it back.
Yeah, it feels more like a snapshot. Some of the questions are also like, what kept you up at night with excitement? We all have to be like, what were we excited about? And you have to really like think about it, but I feel like one small exciting moment that you had that year. It doesn't have to be some like big running theme. Like I think you have a perception of how your year went a lot of the time. You're generalizing this big thing based off of maybe like one milestone or like one good or bad thing that might have happened to you. Whereas these questions, some of them are about the day-to-day, like the smaller picture questions versus the bigger ones. And those at least make me think of the year differently after I do them.
It allows you definitely to see more growth than just thinking about your year. Because then when you see these questions, you're like, wait, I actually did a lot of things that I didn't even think about.
Well, and it's daunting to try to reflect on an entire year.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, that would be, like, a barrier of entry for me, at least.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I
overwhelming.
probably wouldn't do it unless I had these prompts.
We would share, and like you don't have to share it, obviously, if you don't want to.
Except we shared everything.
We shared absolutely
we are
everything.
very, very open books. So we shared every detail, yeah. But I think it was so fun doing it in a group because it's almost like when people ask you like random deep questions when you're drinking or like whatever. It gets you thinking, but it's like you're so excited to hear everyone else's answers too. And yeah, I don't know. That made it so much more interactive and fun. Instead of just like 3 hours of writing, it broke it up. And we had like deep conversation in the middle too, which was really fun.
Don't we always?
As we literally do every moment of the day.
Bro, we only have deep conversation. We never have light conversation. The three of us come together and we're like, all right, time
What was
to
your
unpack.
deepest pain this year?
It's wild. And we never get bored. Another weird thing.
But yeah, highly encourage making it a whole event. A lot of people talk about how you need to be cozy. It's so crucial.
It is too crucial. That's why I
yeah.
spend so much time on the ambiance.
I know.
It had to be
I
correct.
know.
So much time
The
on
thing
it.
is,
It was a
though,
make it or break
for
it.
every place we went on this trip, I was doing that.
I know. And it worked. I mean, it was a very well curated itinerary.
Trip.
Yeah.
Was not bored for a minute.
No.
Thanks so much.
It was too much fun. So that was step number 1.
You
on
need to
our
run the
10-step
3-hour
guide.
reflection. You must.
We'll link the questions or like the video with the questions, but if there are too many on that list, just choose ones that speak to you and do that. Like I feel like anything is better than
Nothing.
nothing.
And
Yeah.
it's like writing one bullet. You know, it's not, if the question is, what did you spend the most money on? You don't have to write a whole paragraph about it. You literally can just say the thing you spent the most money on.
All of our answers were pretty brief.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think after we did a reflection, we needed a breather. So then we carbo loaded. Okay, we had like literally pizza and cheesy garlic bread. And then I was in a comatose immediately after.
And the thing about Priya, she will suggest pizza every time.
I know.
And I knew the minute pizza came out of her mouth, I was like, this bitch is gonna be asleep in 2 hours. And what happened, Diksha?
That's exactly what
That's what happened. I got mad sleepy. And I did not regret it in the moment. And I did regret it after.
Okay. But the funniest thing was we had zero supplies to make our vision boards later on in the day. So we had to fully source all of our resources. We went to Walgreens. We were calling every thrift store in a 20-mile radius, to see if they had magazines. And we did this last year too. We spent an exorbitant amount of money on magazines.
I think they hike up their prices
They do.
during New Year. They're like,
When they know.
everyone's vision boarding, time to make this $20. And guess what? We are desperados, so we're paying $20 for a
It's
single
like
magazine.
outlandish.
You literally called a thrift store and you were like, do you have magazines? And he goes, yeah, is this for vision boards? And we were like, yep. And he goes, yeah, we have some.
We didn't go. So we went to the store, and then another hilarious thing was while we were picking our board material and scissors and glue and all that, guess what we came across? 2 other beautiful ladies also looking to make vision boards, okay?
It was so funny. We're both just like eyeing the poster board, eyeing the glue. They're like testing how
Thick
thick it
a
is.
board is, yeah.
And then we're both like, are you guys making vision boards? And they're like, yup.
But it truly is such a unifying experience.
It's adult arts and crafts.
So then we grabbed 4 magazines, most of them being spiritual.
One Food Network, lest we
Food
forget.
Network. Maybe next year we need to diversify the years we
Maybe
get
if
the
we like
magazines
see
to.
magazines that look cool throughout the year, we can cop them.
Yeah, I
and
think
then
it needs to not be a
it can't just all be from the end of the year.
Well, and they're all
Year in
holiday
review.
magazines.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. There were all holiday
like the
magazines.
Food Network magazine was literally a bunch of fucking holiday cookies.
It was just cookies.
And I was like, okay, well,
I am
not be living for the holidays next year.
So we got all of our supplies, but then prior to actually diving into our vision boards, well, first we were like, we need to watch more videos on how to do vision boarding, because if there's one thing we want to do is continue improving. So we watched
The Manda Kaur's video.
Yes.
On vision boarding
On how to
and like
vision
her
board.
process to do it. Tam Kaur's an icon. She literally is so confident, and that is like my dream. She really like has a positive mindset, and she also has the most positive self-talk. And she honestly pointed out a bunch of interesting things, like making a vision board with your POV. One example she gave was like having an apartment that looks like your dream apartment, and then having someone's hand like holding the keys to kind of represent like maybe your hand is holding the keys and that's your view of the apartment and stuff like that. And I really did pay attention to that when I'm looking at my vision board this year. She also just gave a bunch of other tips on how you want to organize yourself before you even start. First, you want to like not even look at the magazines. You want to focus on like what your actual goals are and bucket them into categories, but more specific categories: career, side hustle, physical health, mental health. Break everything up. But I think the goal writing process should take more time almost than like finding the photos.
Yeah.
I think what I really got from her video is like, in order to manifest effectively, you truly need to see yourself in these positions in life. And like, some of her techniques were really intense because like use AI to like Photoshop your face onto something, which I'm not there yet, like maybe next year. But I never really thought about that while vision boarding until this year, because I was always like, oh, these are just things that I want. I never thought of it as like, these are things that I will have. And I think that's uncomfortable for a lot of people because you want to constantly be humble. I know I veer more pessimistic out of protection. I'm like, yeah, I want this, but I probably won't get it, to like protect yourself from being disappointed or failing or whatever. But hearing her talk about it and be like, no, I'm going to get these things, and like I believe that so deeply in my heart and my soul, I'm putting that to paper. Just hearing that was like, ooh, yeah, that's the way I should be thinking about everything on my vision board. I know the first year we made a vision board, I put like everything I could possibly want in the universe on that vision board, because I was like, okay, time to just throw it all in there. I think slowly we've refined that. Even just doing it with magazines kind of limits your universe. The frequency of like believing that you're gonna actually get these things gets you a step closer to executing them, because you truly like believe that you can do it.
Well, and I like that it was like a 1-year time frame, because
That was a big
otherwise
one.
it's just like, yeah, a beautiful house, I would love for that to happen in the next year, but that's not gonna actually happen. So like, what from the vision board could I actually put in and make happen in the next year? And that makes it easier to like select your images too. And honestly, I feel like Dickie was the most integral to stopping the pessimistic thinking.
I know.
Because anytime we would say something, the bitch would start yelling at us.
I know.
So-
That's so
I
true.
I do.
Also, it wasn't mentioned, but you spent the entire morning while I was looking for coffee shops. You were deciding if we should still eat 12 grapes underneath the table. And
Oh
we didn't
my
do it.
gosh, we didn't do
But
it.
that was a scene out of the bed.
I know.
Because, oh my god. Okay, a quick aside. Everyone started doing it to the point where Prashant did it and I did not. And now I'm like, oh my god, did I miss out on some manifestation glory? But then I started watching videos about it, and it was a very specific. Like, we could not do it now. That was supposed to happen
like
of the new year.
11:57 to 12 a.m.
And it was like, you must shove 12 grapes in your mouth at that time.
My clumsy ass could never, and I would be scared to do that. And
I don't
also,
think it's all at once. You're not shoving 12 grapes.
No, but you're
No,
doing one by
but
one.
it's
But
one
can
by
you chew
one in
grapes
60
that fast?
seconds.
Oh.
That's kind of tough.
That's tough.
You gotta chew. You gotta swallow.
You gotta
pop
think.
the new
You're
one
like,
in.
oh, what's
You're
the
like, it's crazy, but
That's kind of funny.
we did feel like we missed. Well, Ashi warned us on the 31st.
Yeah, she told us about this, completely forgot.
Dang, did we miss
But
something
now,
big?
everyone that did it, please report back if it changed your life, because now I'm really curious. If Ashi did that at midnight, I will need her on the podcast next year to tell us
if
what
she,
the fuck happened.
She gets all 12 wishes. We'll be reporting back here live next year.
Yeah, I need to know. Anyway, back.
Well, I think before we get into the actual vision boards, we touched on the goals, but like we actually did, after watching that video, sit down and very in detail wrote out all of our goals. And we did it in like those categories that Diksha just mentioned. The one thing that I took from that video was also to be like more specific in your goal setting and attach numbers to things. And even, what did she say? Like writing it in the present tense.
So like, I have whatever you want instead of I want. Something that she mentioned that I did not do last year, I was very like by the number, like these are the stats I want to meet last year. But this year, I did focus more on my feelings when you achieve those things.
Yeah. I think it's just the more descriptive you can be with it, the more you can visualize it for yourself.
Yeah.
So that was the key takeaway. And then once we wrote out all our goals, which took another 90 minutes or so, it was like 5:30 p.m. We're like, all right, panting. We're like pulling out the magazines, ripping stuff
Meanwhile,
apart.
at this point, Priya already lost her mind 3 times. So
I know.
This was just when things were on the up and up for her.
I was going through so many things throughout the day, but mostly good things. And key point is to light a candle.
Yeah, set the vibe.
You must. Cozy again.
We started playing NPR Tiny Desk concerts on YouTube. That
was fun.
Enhanced
Yeah, that
the
was
vibe.
great.
And then we got to scrapbooking away on our vision boards. And now here we are. And we have not talked about them.
Yeah, we made them yesterday on the 1st, but now it is the 2nd, and we are going to do a grand review. Okay, so
I'm like,
up top, I feel like last year, the stuff on my vision board was very kind of obvious. It was like, if there was a dollar bill, I want money. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't more deeper than that. But I feel like the stuff on my vision board this year more embodies a vibe and an aura, less of like pointed, defined goals, because we already did the goal setting exercise. So I treated my vision board as more the creative outlet there on how I want to feel. That is something different I did this year. Anything different you did this year?
I gotta say, well, no, I'm looking at it again now, and I love a lot of things on my vision board, and I think this is correct. But last year, I was so psyched because I thought my vision board looked so snatched. And for context, guys, I have never been an artistic person, and I've been fighting to be one my whole life. And like since the age of 3, every art project was a disaster. And so I was like kind of on cloud 9, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And I posted on my story, and I got so many responses. They're like, "It looks so good," and I was like riding a high from the aesthetics. But then Tama Nakaur was like, "Your vision board ain't about the aesthetics," and I was like, "Okay, sister," and I took that really to heart because this year it's super ugly.
Wait, can you talk about your son?
Bro, like after I had basically pasted everything on this board, I realized I had really weird white spaces everywhere because I didn't like do good backgrounds. Honestly, I think where I messed up was the layering. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and like remediate this, and I cut out a part of a sun that I found on a magazine. But then I just like
She put it in the smack dead center.
I glued it in the center. I don't know. It is just so not cute.
It don't look like no sun. I was like, where's the sun?
I know, I literally cannot tell that it's a sun.
It's like the bottom half of the sun.
It's actually just a yellowish blob. The number of these guys.
That also has a running theme of these cartoon characters that look kind of nuts across her entire vision board.
It's like a million people
This
drinking
one.
tea.
It's literally, honestly, 40% of my vision board are people drinking tea.
Cartoon characters. It's cartoon characters.
If you saw her right now, she's actually in my bed drinking tummy time tea.
Wait, that I manifested it.
Oh my god, there's a
literally
cup in
manifested
this
it.
one too, baby.
No, it's the year
Oh my
of
God.
beverages, bitches. I don't care.
It's the year of tea.
It's
Okay.
the year of coffee and tea. It's actually like playing Where's Waldo, but it's like teacups.
She actually had 100 teacups and then cut out a separate teacup just to make it super
I
clear
did not-
she did want to drink tea.
I did not realize it was this excessive.
And me and Diksha both saw this like man sitting in a big chair drinking tea, and we both separately were like, Priya, you should add this guy.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, sneak peek, everyone, to my vision board. It's mostly just sitting and drinking tea.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Wait, but also, the very first thing Priya put on her vision board, she's looking through Food Network. She goes, oh my god, you guys, I am putting this goat cheese on my vision board. And it's also the smallest little speck on her vision board, but she was like, this is it.
Okay,
This is
wait.
it.
But these two got dibs on the magazines first. There
was another spiritual one. You
whatever.
picked that
It was
one.
away from me. And then they're like looking at, spiritual life and meditation magazine. And then I was left with Food Network. So I'm like, ooh, goat cheese.
Yeah, except
Why?
she said it like that. It was honestly pretty silent.
Yeah, we were
just
all in the
snipping.
zone.
And then she goes, oh, good cheese.
And yeah, that's on the board.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh my god. Okay,
So,
well,
what about you? Anything
Okay.
different from this year?
Um,
Last year?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different. So last year, and kind of, I guess, the past 2 years, my big thing has been to just drink less. And not that I was ever a big drinker, but I have just become quite a sober gal. Now my new fixation is to reduce my screen time. And I want to get it down drastically for this upcoming goal. I have this thing that says improved time bar.
ooh.
And that to me is like just if I'm looking at a metric of how I spent my day, I want that to be improved. And to me, that means like not being on my phone. Yeah, I've become a misreading gal this past year. I read 14 books. Pretty iconic as a non-reader.
very
No, that
iconic.
is the biggest massive slut.
More than
Yeah.
one book a month. Insane.
Yes, yeah. So I have a little book things on here. I want to develop just a better understanding of our religion. So that's like a little bit on here. I love cooking. So some of that is on here. And then I have Meanwhile in Copenhagen because
And let me tell you, this is 25% of her board.
yeah. At one point on this trip, I guess, I said, oh, I want our next big trip to be to like a Nordic country. And then I saw this huge thing that said Meanwhile in Copenhagen. And I was like, it's a sign. So then I grabbed it. But,
But before you were gonna put a big ass
Yeah.
picture directly in
Yeah.
the
It's
just
entire
all
it
background.
was going to be all about Copenhagen. And I don't really think about Copenhagen like that.
No, I was
So-
like, have you always been thinking about Copenhagen? Oh
no,
my gosh.
I haven't. But, now I gotta go because it's on the board.
Right.
And then I have this girl shooting a
Yeah,
arrow.
that was really cool.
Okay, a big thing, again, is in years past, a lot of my goals have also been around physical health. I think it's worked. I've become much more disciplined in my, physical health routine. So now I need to, really figure out the mental health and more mental toughness, I think. Because I think I can be a little mentally weak. So
Don't we all?
that is just what this is meant to signify.
Oh, I love that.
I
Yeah.
love that.
And I just care a lot about my home space, and I'm ready to start upgrading my things to just nicer adult things.
But also, I feel like you definitely are already doing that.
I think I'm in the process.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight, but I'm just like, a bitch is 27. We can't be living like this anymore,
I know.
No, I know. Yeah. You should tell them about your Japanese situation over there.
Oh.
I don't know what that is exactly.
I got a
mattress?
Japanese floor mattress
Oh, yes,
for
that-
our beloved guests here because I have a very comfy stay every time I come to New York because there's 10 beds I can sleep in over there. And air mattresses are kind of whack, so I don't know. What's your review of it?
I love it.
No, love it. It's 10x more comfortable than an air mattress.
It's
I agree.
very, very comfortable.
Yeah,
I
great.
got amazing sleep on it.
Back to the basics. This is how our grandparents used to sleep too.
I know. Isn't it supposed to be better for your back?
Yeah, some people use this as their I did a lot of Amazon
Their
research.
main bed.
Yeah.
Wow. Like on a little platform or something. Yeah. That's
yeah.
literally how they sleep in India.
Wooden slab.
Yeah. Amazing. Priya, do you want to go next?
Sure. Okay, so we already covered the tea, so I will overlook that part. I mean, okay, I think the main themes of my vision board this year were, first and foremost, I want to focus on consistency in everything I do. And so I have this Routine Matters poster and an alarm clock. This was crazy because this was a last minute addition. And I have an alarm clock that I have not put the last battery in. That
You
I
have an alarm clock?
Yes, and I don't use it.
What kind of alarm clock?
Just like a normal one. Like I got like a cheap
Wow.
one. But I've been also wanting to reduce my screen time, and I am such a culprit of either before going to bed, I'm like, oh, I'll check one more thing, and I'm on it for hours, or in the morning, I'll like turn off my alarm, and immediately that's the first thing you see. So I want to get an alarm clock and start to make my space more conducive to the habits that I want to create for myself. And then I have a good chunk of things around being cozy. We know I love being cozy. I would say that that is the second biggest theme on this board.
I would
Maybe
say that's
even
the
the
first.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the first. But I think this year I conflated being cozy sometimes with rotting in my room. And so what I was trying to visualize here is being cozy and actually relaxing my mind and body versus getting to a point of burnout where you're just kind of like rotting in your bed for hours and you don't necessarily feel revived or relaxed afterwards. And then I have some things around movement and nature. I think some of this stuff signals to me just general change in my environment that I want to curate. And another big thing is I have this being working, but their head is a flower. And I spend a lot of time in this position of me just working on my laptop, and I'm never a flower, let me tell you that. That's not what I'm giving. So I really just want to grow in the direction of liking what I do, which I do, but liking it in the present moment, not retroactively, or like not when I've accomplished something big. I think that's going to be a big focus for next year. And then my middle quote of my board is, "This is a wonderful day. I've never seen it before."
Oh my god.
I know.
I love that.
It's by Maya Angelou, so we knew
Of course.
it was
No,
gonna
it's
smack.
poetic AF.
But I saw that, and immediately my eyes got
one
Oh
thing,
my
one thing
God.
about Priya. She will
I'm
be
gonna
crying.
tear up. And I was like, this really needs to go in the middle because this is really everything. If anything, next year, that's all I want to embody. Being grateful for every day. Oh, and I have some dumbbells on the side because a girl's gonna get strong this year.
We also have
very active this year, though.
It was a good year for really understanding the workouts that I like and like learning more about myself in that regard. And now I want to focus on like, I almost think of this as work. I did the like lateral growth, and now I want to do the vertical.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I want to
I
like
love
push
that.
myself a little bit more.
It's a good
So
analogy.
nice.
that is the goal.
Do we talk about our imaginary boyfriends?
Ugh.
You have to, please. Please speak it out into the universe.
Bro, like literally the one thing about vision boarding is we are always trying to manifest some, beautiful relationships for ourselves, and then we can never find that shit in the magazine.
No,
and
we
we're like,
never pick the ones that have romantic shit in
I
it.
know.
We always pick the serious ass, like, mental and, like, physical growth
But last
Johns.
year we had like magazines that would have seemingly had
it was
some
like
men in it.
Cosmo, I think we had, or
There was probably
something.
Cosmo. But yeah, I did decline the knot because I was like, no, that's
I
too
know. We're like,
triggering.
Diksha, get the knot. And she's like, no. And then we were like, we should have gotten the knot. At least there would be one
Should
happy
have.
couple in there.
There would have been only happy couples in the knot.
I know. And we, once again, could find no happy couples. So I cut out a beautiful, cartoon. A couple. Definitely a couple who is on FaceTime
Enjoying a glass
of wine. And so I am FaceTiming Diksha and Toe with my beautiful betrothed. No, you guys, I cannot even tell you what this man looks like. I don't know
He's
what.
not that ugly.
He's not ugly, but I'm like,
He's pretty ugly.
yeah, I'm like,
What? He's a cartoon.
And he's not a cute cartoon.
Not a
He's
cute
balding,
cartoon.
Diksha.
he has a receding hairline.
He's maybe 40. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so this is just getting worse and worse. It's all just symbolism, okay? I hope the vision board gods understand what I'm going for. God damn it. I can't. No,
Okay,
so you need to talk about your
yours.
romantic.
I mean, he's a snack compared to
I know.
yours.
A
Listen.
toast is a snack.
But Avanti really just made a cartoon out of cartoons.
Yeah, mine is kind of hilarious because my boyfriend on here is just pointing to my butt.
She's like doing yoga.
She like put another visual
and then
of
just
someone
cut out
else
some
doing
random
yoga
cartoon guy just pointing at her butt.
and angled it towards the butt of the girl.
Yeah. So that's what I'm manifesting
So-
for myself.
Me and Avanti,
We love
we
it.
don't know how this is about to shake out next year, but wish us luck.
But it's on there. It's on
It's on there, and I gave it a lot of real estate. Okay,
She did.
Last year, I made it a small older couple, and
At
you know,
least your couples are getting younger.
they're
every
getting
year.
younger, so maybe eventually
We love it.
we'll figure out the right age. But yeah,
Okay, so mine is just only symbolism, I would say. I have a few quotes, but a lot of it is just kind of a vibe I want to embody. One of my favorite things on it is this little poster that says La vida è bella, which I looked it up. It means life is gorgeous. And I really do want to appreciate the stressful times, the emotional times more. And something interesting that you mentioned, Toe, was about how amazing is it that we can feel and have the emotions and create relationships.
Oh my god, my
and, like,
mom's dream. Oh, stop.
and honestly, very, very touching. And I thought about that, and I really thought this visual kind of embodied that. Because
honestly, both of yours have that kind of theme. Like
Oh,
this
yeah.
quote and that.
yeah.
yeah, and I feel like I sometimes just go really, really hard on myself for like not finishing things the way I want to, or like being really particular about things and then delaying the entire thing and like things like that. But I feel like I just need to appreciate the journey actually more, and the journey being every day and the process instead of like focusing on the end goal. I also have a lot of like home stuff in here just because I literally have a whole sofa in here because we need to upgrade our sofas. Am I right, Priya?
Yes.
So I want a new space that I feel truly free in. I feel like, you know, I love living with my best friends. It's all cool, but I do live in the room with no window, no closet. It really is a box. So I really want to upgrade and just have a space where I can just kind of freely move around and always kind of get light. I think that's like a big thing. So I put a picture of a living room that has like these big windows in it, and it's just like a high ceiling, just because I do want to invite more brightness and like life into my space. And I also have like another picture of another living room with another sofa. My theme is sofas this year. So
Yeah.
I have
Diksha's sofa
actually
is my teacup.
3 different sofas on this vision board. And then I also have a waffle on here because bitch needs to start eating breakfast because I am starving all day. So I'm like, I need to eat carbs in the morning, carbs in the afternoon, and carbs in the evening. Like, I need that to be happy. So I will be eating waffles this year is what I think.
Okay.
And
Honestly, when I look at yours, I see bride.
you do?
I
kind of
do.
do too, because everything's kind of like this white pastel
Yeah.
floral theme.
And you even have like a bouquet of flowers right there.
Oh, this
I
is a
know.
bush.
It looks like a bouquet.
Well, it's giving.
Oh, thank you. Well,
And you have like a planner there. Like, it's like clear. Wedding's on the brain.
wedding is on the brain. I think
Also, last year, Diksha put a ring on her vision board. And guess what happened?
I did get engaged.
Oh.
It was beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. But now, because the wedding is like a big portion, I've like learned in the last 3 months since I've started wedding planning that I just need to be hella organized and like also plan my days properly. I feel like once you start wedding planning, it becomes crucial that you have a routine and you have things that like you do and you focus during the day. I feel like I had a lot more room to just like kind of mess around and like work late at night if I needed to finish up things and stuff like that. But now I'm just like in a time crunch where I have to be productive during the day and like also split up my work properly. So I'm not hauling ass for like 2 days and then like lazing around for 3. I literally don't have the luxury to do that. So I want to focus this year on like becoming organized and like having a sustainable schedule. In previous years, I would stack. Like I got a lot done in a day, but I was exhausted. So I think a lot of it is just like splitting up my time and like being okay with things not being perfect. I also have a quote that says, I said I'd do it, but I never said perfectly.
Yeah, that's like crazy that you found that in a magazine.
I
know. I was like, this is speaking to my soul. And then I also have some snippets of kind of not wedding inspo, but just bright energy that I kind of want to focus towards wedding stuff, like the flowers and like this marigold I thought was very Indian, inspired. So that kind of just embodied like a happy start to marriage type of vibe, which I want to just bring more positivity into the planning process now that the biggest thing has been resolved, which is the date. And then obviously podcast is on the brain. I had this little visual, which also resembles just these girl chats that we have, two girls chatting it up with journal looking things, which was literally us. But I don't know, I just thought it was cute and also symbolized like podcasts and like still having like collaboration. Another quote that I really loved was, you must make your work with joy in your heart. And I feel like a lot of the times I'm super stressed while getting stuff done, whether it's podcast editing, whether it's like work, but I just like need to start letting go and enjoying the process of doing, you know?
Yeah.
And in the middle, I have a big ass thing that says, make it bigger, because I just want growth generally.
Yeah.
Abundance
Mindset.
Yes, which I really want to work on as well this year.
Love it.
Love it. Wow. I feel like ours are honestly, like, there's some patterns between them, but they're very different.
They're very different, I feel
They
like.
are.
Yeah.
Wait, so if you had to summarize yours in one word, what is it?
Okay, I think mine would be brightness. Mentally,
I like that one.
physically,
Yeah.
brightness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine would be just improvement in terms of the way I spend my time, the environment that I'm in, the things that I buy. I want it to just be like better quality, better usage, more productive. Yeah.
Love.
I think mine is giving consistency. I think a lot of these things, there's not a lot of like big things on my board. It's a lot of just day-to-day things that I want to be consistent about, and like that will lead to the big changes I want in my life, you know?
Love. Okay, what a successful roundup. And I feel like it's always good to kind of like speak your truth on like what you want to accomplish, even if it's just like the stuff you're comfortable sharing, because I don't know, I feel like you're just actually speaking it into existence instead of just like keeping in your brain. So having close friends that you can discuss with no judgment is always a positive in the process.
Def. Grab your girls and do some manifesting.
Grab your
Grab
girls,
your
grab your
girls.
scissors, grab your glues,
Grab your journals, grab your pens,
and grab your magazines
And
in
your
advance.
candles.
and your candles. I hope you all have gotten a chance to reflect, or this inspires you to reflect and set some intentions. And we're excited for what's to come.
Yeah.
2024.
Another year of growth, baby.
Grow it,
Yeah.
baby.
Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.